Hi everyone, I'm Alex Savage from KTVU Channel 2. We want to welcome you here to a forum of candidates running for 2 seats on the Walnut Creek City Council. Today's forum is sponsored by the Contra Costa Elections Division, Contra Costa Television, the League of Women Voters of Diablo Valley, and the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa County. We're recording these roundtables here in the studio of Contra Costa Television. The candidates joining us today, Cindy Silva, Iman Novin, Matt Francois, Rebecca Bird, and Spencer Dress. So we drew lots before the show to determine the speaking order, so we are going to start with you, Cindy. If elected to the Walnut Creek City Council, what would be your top priority in office?
I believe my top priority is to continue our partnership with the community to really work on the quality of life, whether it's about housing or homelessness, if it's about parks or the arts, gardens, libraries, our youth or our seniors. We really need to work with our community to be able to achieve our joint and collaborative objectives, and I think that is my top priority.
What do you see as the shortcomings in Walnut Creek when it comes to quality of life? Where are the areas you want to improve?
We need to ensure that we have housing available to all families of all types, and we need to continue to work on the homelessness situation, provide library services, continue to work with our school districts on school services and how we work with them together. And we also have fiscal challenges because of the unfunded pensions from the state, and we have to work on that or we're going to have a significant difficulty in delivering on any of those services.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for being here today. Same question to you, Iman. If you're elected to the council, what is going to be your top priority?
So there's currently 4 council priorities, and these are priorities that were set through a survey of the community. And to me, the community's priorities are my priorities. These include affordable housing, homelessness, infrastructure, and economic development. I'm well suited to help on all of these fronts. As an affordable housing developer, I've helped build over 1,500 units of housing for veterans and teachers and seniors throughout the Bay Area. In terms of homelessness, I serve on the board of the Trinity Center, which is a nonprofit that deals with homelessness issues. Infrastructure, we need to increase our biking and walking, make it safer for families to get out of the cars and walk around. And bike around to where they're trying to get. And in terms of economic development, I'm the only candidate that's on the Chamber of Commerce board, and I own a small business in Walnut Creek. And so I look forward to rolling up my sleeves and getting involved on these priorities.
Okay, Iman, thank you for that. Matt, the same question to you. If you are elected to the council, what areas would you say, where would your focus be? What would be your top priority to focus on in the city?
Well, thank you, Alex. And I would have 2 priorities, jobs and fiscal responsibility. On jobs, I think it's very important that the city take a proactive approach to economic development. We need to do 3 things in my mind. We need to plan and zone for job growth. We need to be a welcoming environment for entrepreneurs and employers. And then we also need to expand our broadband infrastructure. On fiscal responsibility, the city has been a good fiscal steward over the past years. But going forward, we have some challenges facing us. And so we need to make sure that we take action now to ensure that we can continue to provide the high level of services that our residents are accustomed to.
In terms of the budget, are there areas you would shift things?
You know, one of the areas that we need to continue to focus effort on is on our pension costs and the increasing pension costs. So I would support the city's efforts on continuing to fund our unfunded liabilities in that regard and continue to look forward for efforts that we could look for efficiencies both in facilities and in services.
Okay, I appreciate you being here today. Rebecca?
Yes.
Welcome. Same question to you here. If you're elected to the council, what is your top priority going to be?
I have been listening to the community in recent days, and what I'm hearing most is that traffic and the infrastructure is a major concern of our constituents. Therefore, I think we need to address some of the main issues within the Walnut Creek traffic and the situations there, as well as the homelessness and all of the other 4 items that were mentioned by Iman. And I would continue to reach out to the community and ask them, what are your current needs, and try to accommodate those.
Okay, yeah, we'll certainly talk about the traffic issues as we move throughout this forum, because I know a lot of you have some ideas on that particular subject. I want to get to you, Spencer. Welcome, first of all. And if you are elected, what is your focus? What is your top priority on the council?
My top priority, if elected to the council, is to be a voice that is representative and responsible to the citizens of Walnut Creek. When you're out there meeting with constituents, talking with people who live in the community, they feel like they're not being heard. And it's my job as a council member to make sure they are being heard, to make sure their concerns are being listened to and not bulldozed by special interests and other larger entities that are not here for the quality of life of Walnut Creek, but are here to make money. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much all for being here. Why don't we talk about, one of the issues that came up here, which is the issue of congestion in the city of Walnut Creek. I mean, we know that there are a lot of areas of concern, especially downtown. Let me start with you, Cindy. Again, what do you think can be done by the council? What steps should be taken to try to reduce congestion in some of those well-known spots around the city?
So first and foremost, congestion is an indicator of that we are an active community, and we are a central part of Contra, Costa and an active business community. But what we need to do and continue to do is to invest the resources in maintaining our roads so that they flow freely, in investing in changing intersections so that they can move better, in technology that will allow automation to keep the flow working, and also in the alternative modes, pedestrian, bicycles, downtown trolley, which takes people off the streets, and as well as thinking what we have to do is continue to work at a regional level with our neighboring cities and across the county to ensure that we are investing in I-680 and State Route 24 so that those people are not looking at Walnut Creek as an alternative way to bypass the traffic on those highways, and we do that very effectively.
Not using that downtown corridor as a kind of a cut-through.
Exactly.
Yeah. Iman, same question to you on the issue of congestion here. You must get a lot of feedback from people in the city.
Absolutely.
About how bad the traffic is. What do you say to them? How would you change things?
The two top concerns that I've heard are traffic and parking. And you look back at Walnut Creek's history. The city of Walnut Creek used to be called Four Corners, and so parking and traffic has always been, because this is sort of the city where it's at the intersection of multiple cities in our county, and so traffic is nothing new for our community. But we're doing a really good job, and our city has gotten awards in terms of our traffic department in using innovative technology to help us manage that flow. We have systems that look at dispatch ambulance and fire and manage the lights so that when there is an emergency, our first responders can get through. And so it's about continuing to invest in that technology so that we can manage the flow. But it's also about looking at the future to fixing our job housing imbalance, making sure some of our jobs stay locally so we don't have to commute out of the city, and it's embracing Lime bikes, and it's improving pedestrian access, and it is putting more housing downtown where there is a possibility to walk.
Okay. Matt, how about you? What is the feedback you hear from people in the city about traffic, and what do you think needs to be done to improve the flow?
Well, I think we can do a better job, and I do hear a lot about traffic and parking as well as the rate of development downtown. And I think going forward, we need to do a better job making sure that when we are approving specific plans that allow for new development, that we're also giving careful consideration to the infrastructure, to the roads, to the bike lanes, to the sidewalks, and make sure that those critical key components are adopted at the same time as our development plans so they're not getting out of pace. Technology absolutely is part of the solution, and I think synchronizing the signals on Ignacio as well as crosstown on Broadway in California are very important to moving traffic flow quickly and easily through Walnut Creek. Promoting alternative transportation also is a very important component, and keeping our important partnership with BART and making sure that we provide opportunities for our residents to commute on BART and through County Connection will be key going forward.
Thank you for that. Rebecca, how about you? There's a lot of people in their cars. How do you get people out of their cars, and how do you get things moving around the city?
So one of the ideas I've heard is actually opening up Ignacio Valley Road with 2 more lanes on either side. That could possibly help. But I would also suggest that our neighboring cities do need to take some of the weight off of Walnut Creek, because these people do not live in Walnut Creek generally that are traveling down and congesting our city. So we need to partner with our neighboring cities to ensure that they are also helping us with that situation and getting their people home. So my idea would be to continue to look at the technology as well to see if there's opportunities there. There are some exciting things coming in our future that we could embrace and possibly become a beta site for.
Do you think some of the neighboring cities bear some of the financial responsibility to
At this
ease
time,
congestion?
I don't know at this time. I do think that that's something that we would need to consider. I'm not sure if they do or not.
Okay. Spencer, to you, we know traffic's an issue, especially downtown. You heard what your fellow candidates have said. What are some of your ideas to ease congestion in the city of Walnut Creek?
And I'll echo what my fellow candidates have said. We do need to be working with the county. We do need to be syncing traffic lights. We do need to be careful about what developments we approve and where we approve them. We need to be investing in bike lanes. We need to be investing in alternative modes of transportation, autonomous vehicles, slowing down the city to make Walnut Creek not the corridor that people pass through. We need to incentivize people to not take Walnut Creek roads as their commuting roads. At the end of the day, Walnut Creek is a community and it's not a highway. So we need to find ways that make Walnut Creek, undesirable for commuters at the end of the day. So those are my solutions to our wonderful traffic problem.
Okay. I mean, obviously the traffic issue ties in with development of where people are living. Let's talk about development in the downtown corridor specifically. Cindy, do you agree with the pace of development in downtown Walnut Creek, or do you think that it should be slowed in any way?
So people need places to live, and that would be, we need to provide homes across this state and across this nation for families of all types. And our plan, adopted 25 years ago, is that we will accommodate about 0.5% more people each year, which is about 350 people. It doesn't come evenly spaced. Sometimes there are more, sometimes there are less. But the question really is, how do you balance this, the new housing that's needed for new people, against the desires to protect the single-family neighborhoods and protect our open space areas, and also to protect the agricultural lands that are further east from this. And the answer to that was to basically focus on new housing in the downtown area where people are closer to transportation, where they can walk, they can bike better, they can actually get out of their cars, and it reduces the impacts on our single-family neighborhoods. And so we are actually building in the right place and accommodating it. And I think we do this carefully so that we address what the specific impacts would be on any specific development on any one corner or street.
Iman, what do you think when it comes to the development of downtown specifically? Do you agree with the pace that we have seen?
Absolutely. I think California's in a housing crisis, and Walnut Creek is a very desirable community for many reasons. The American dream of owning a home is out of reach for many. I think the median price house is over $800,000 in Walnut Creek right now. We have 1,500 units in our pipeline, and a lot of that is stuff that was entitled years ago that are coming to fruition. The community is feeling the strain of all of this new growth coming at once. However, this is a strategy. Focusing the density downtown near BART where it's walkable is a strategy to protect the quality in our single-family neighborhoods. And so I would continue to look at smart growth and balanced growth approaches. We need more affordable housing. Our teachers can't afford to live in Walnut Creek. Our firefighters, our police officers are commuting from long distances to be with us. As the only person with a background in affordable housing development, I hope to bring that expertise to the City Council.
How would you make sure that there are enough affordable housing units for people who need them in the city?
Well, part of it is just having a strong council priority for that and making sure that as developers are looking at new projects, incentivizing them enough with more density, with faster, streamlined approvals so that it makes sense to provide the units on site rather than paying a fee. In some cases, the fee makes more sense, but in other cases, there are opportunities to provide units on site, which is what we desperately need.
Matt, let me ask you about that, you know, all the development in the city. How do you ensure that low-income families don't get squeezed out of Walnut Creek?
Well, thank you, Alex. It's a very important question, and it requires a fair amount of balancing, which I think is the role of a city council member. We have to plan for the growth and not react to it, and I want to see a Walnut Creek that respects and development that respects the look and feel of our existing character. So we have had a fair amount of residential development, and I have supported providing housing for all segments of our community while I served on the Planning Commission for more than 10 years. We can't focus just on housing, though, because we have other needs. We have job needs, we have retail needs, we have commercial office needs. And so we really need a balanced approach that we can get to through the planning process, through listening to our community, and through developing plans that we all jointly agree on and want to move forward to. It's important to me that we encourage not only the community to participate in these plans, but that those plans reflect the community's desire for the Walnut Creek that they'd like to see in the future.
Rebecca, let me ask you about that. I mean, the cost of living across the Bay Area and of course in Walnut Creek is challenging for a lot of families. What would you do as a member of the council to ensure that there is affordable housing for people in the city?
I think that the growth is good that we have started, and what I'm seeing is the constituents, I have to stop saying that word, are feeling the pain. And one of the concerns is that it's not actually matching the ambiance of the city, some of the new construction. And so in my role, I would like to make sure that everyone is on board with what is being implemented, and that we do have a sign-off, so to speak, so that once it goes up later, folks are not having buyer's remorse with what we've actually approved and then built. And I think that's what we're seeing today and why it's such a subject. So we need everybody to remember that this was something we were doing to obtain affordable place to live in Walnut Creek for most.
All right, Spencer, to you. Are you okay with the pace of development that we're seeing in Walnut Creek? And what steps do you think should be taken to make sure that low-income families in particular aren't priced out?
I think Walnut Creek at this day could benefit from a small breather in development. We can plan all we want, but we're not going to know the impacts of these new developments until they're up and people are moving in. We just talked about traffic. We don't know what these are going to do to traffic. We can talk all day about how people are going to move to these and not use their cars anymore. Walnut Creek is not the most walkable city. You still need to drive to Safeway, you need to drive to Whole Foods, you need to drive to Target. So I think the community, and I've heard it from the constituents, that the community would benefit from a small breather in growth to acclimate and understand how it's going to affect our city. And in terms of affordable housing, there are all sorts of developer loopholes that allow people to buy their way out of providing the accurate and precise amount of affordable housing that needs to be in our buildings downtown. Just because you want to build a building downtown and have it a certain clientele doesn't mean you can buy your way out of providing affordable units.
Let's talk about the city budget. And you know, some of you in your opening statements talked about, you know, wanting to be fiscally responsible. Obviously, when if you are elected, Cindy, let's talk about what steps you would take to ensure that the city's budget is balanced, and what shifts would you make in terms of the budget? Where do you want to spend more money?
So I guess we're going to start with me on every question rather
I
than
think
rotating. So, okay, I'll go
think we
first.
are. Yeah, is that okay? All right.
Absolutely, I'm the incumbent, so why shouldn't I go first? First of all, the city of Walnut Creek has a long history of being fiscally conservative, and it's well deserved. And I really credit my predecessors for that. And we have managed, even through the recession, to ensure that we have balanced budgets, we have no debt, and we have very healthy reserves. The challenge that we're facing is the rapidly rising costs of the pension obligations. Those are obligations we must pay every year. And they are rising year over year and increasing. In fact, this last budget cycle, which we're currently at the beginning of. We had to close a $2.2 million gap in the budget. So as we look forward, what we have done, and what I'm very proud that we've done, because it's one of the few cities in the state that have done that, we have set aside $14 million in a pension trust fund, and $5 million in pension reserves that are available also, but that's not enough. We are going to have to work more with our employees. We are going to have, on cost sharing, we're going to have to look at service changes and advocate at the state level.
Cindy, thank you. We appreciate you going first once again. I just figured we'd keep things consistent, right? Iman, what about you? What are your spending priorities for the city?
So Walnut Creek has a $94 million budget, and like many communities in the Bay Area, there is this pension issue that we're dealing with, but Walnut Creek is doing better than most in terms of managing this issue. As a Chamber of Commerce board member, we talk about this a lot, and I would focus primarily on revenue generating measures that can help us stay competitive. We have neighboring cities that are trying to grab a piece of the sales tax revenue. We have San Ramon City Center going in. We have the Veranda in Concord, and everybody wants that piece of sales tax revenue. And Walnut Creek needs to continue to be a leader on this front to make sure that we have the revenue so we don't have to cut city services.
Okay. Matt, your budget priorities, what changes do you think need to be made to ensure fiscal stability down the road?
Well, it's an important question, Alex, and one that I absolutely think should be a priority over the next 4 years. We're facing some challenges ahead, but nothing that Walnut Creek can't handle. We need to look at our rising pension costs. I applaud the council's efforts in taking a proactive stand on that. I would follow their lead, continue to invest surpluses into our irrevocable pension trust fund. I would also do a comprehensive search of our city facilities and city services to see where there are opportunities to create efficiencies and avoid redundancies. I think we need to have those honest conversations, but I'm also committed to keeping the high quality of life and level of services that all of our residents enjoy. We need to look at not only cost savings measures, but partnering with private funding sources and exploring other sources of revenue. And I absolutely believe we can grow our way out of this to some extent by looking at increasing the pie, by bringing in new economic development, new job growth, which will increase our property tax and sales tax revenue.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca?
Yes.
How about you? When you look at the city's budget, where do you want to spend more? Where might you want to cut?
As a project manager with over 25 years of experience managing budgets, this is an area where we would want to make sure that what we are currently spending is correct, is right, is in the right place, is benefiting the most of the individuals, and then look at how we could bring more revenue. We have so many empty buildings downtown that are not generating any revenue at all. How can we bring exciting business to Walnut Creek so that we could increase our budget? That would be my approach.
Okay. All right, lastly to you, Spencer. Your budget priorities, where do you cut? Where do you feel like the city needs to spend more money?
I think before we can figure out where to cut and where to spend more money, we need a complete top to bottom review of the city budget. I've talked to other council members and they've told me at the end of the day, the city doesn't know where it spends every cent. And that's not a reliable way to go forward with fiscal responsibility. So to go in, we need to see every department and every expenditure and understand where we're spending our money. And from there, then we can build a plan for the future to understand what services are needed, what services are being redundant, and then we can go forward and continue our bright path of fiscal stability.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you to all of you. Good discussion. I appreciate you answering obviously some important questions that I know a lot of constituents in the city have. All right, each of our candidates is now going to have 1 minute to make a closing statement, and we are going to start not with you, Cindy. We're going to start over here with Spencer Dress. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
My name is Spencer Dress, and I'm running to serve you and our fellow residents as a member of the City Council. To prepare our city for the future, we need bold, creative, and visionary leadership today. As a member of the City Council, my first priority will be to ensure that our city is a vibrant, livable place for generations to come. Enacting that vision will require dedication and hard work. As a community, there are specific areas that must be addressed to make our city one that works for all of us. Some of these areas include keeping our families and neighborhoods safe, improving our quality of life by fostering the creation of exciting and innovative economic opportunities, maintaining and improving city services while keeping costs affordable, making sure our arts, recreation, open space, and libraries are fully staffed and funded, investing in transportation infrastructure in order to improve traffic and reduce congestion, and listening to our residents to make sure that their voices are heard. Thank you for having me today, and I hope that I've earned your vote. Thank you.
Okay. I know. You want to go last, right, Cindy? I think so. Rebecca, will you go ahead, please, and give us your
Yes.
closing statement? Thank you.
As a project manager, again, with over 25 years of experience, I think I'm very qualified for this role. I'm here today because I saw that there was an empty seat on the Walnut Creek City Council, and I know that we are encouraging young and old to get out and do something if you're not happy with the way things are today. That's why I'm here today. I got off the couch and wanted to get involved. I believe I'm qualified for the role. I believe that I will do what's right for the city, and I ask you to consider voting for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Matt.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this important forum. Among the first-time candidates, I believe I'm the most qualified to serve on the City Council. I have both the experience and new ideas to lead the city into the future. I understand that on the council you have to balance a lot of competing interests. As a long-standing planning commissioner, I have the experience of doing just that. I also understand that you have to have a vision for the future. My vision mirrors that of the city's, a balanced community meeting tomorrow's needs while protecting the quality and character we value today. I am a consensus builder that likes to solve problems, and I'm not afraid to get behind the best idea, even if it's not mine. I'm an independent voice that will make decisions always with the community's best interests in mind. I'm proud to be supported by the Chamber of Commerce, the Police Officers Association, and 13 former mayors, including Rich Carlston, Gwen Regalia, Kathy Hicks, and Gary Skrell. I would be honored to serve you on the City Council, and I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you for that. Iman?
Thank you. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, the residents of Walnut Creek. My story is the American dream story. My family moved here to escape a war in Iran and start a better life. We worked very hard, and this is only possible in this country. And I feel honored and blessed to have had this opportunity. And that's why when I moved to Walnut Creek in 2010 and met my wife, Alala, I said, it's time for us to give back. And I have done that. I've rolled up my sleeves and I volunteered to join the Walnut Creek Planning Commission. I then later joined the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a small business owner based in Walnut Creek. And I also serve on the board of the Trinity Center, which is a nonprofit that deals with homelessness. I've shown that I'm committed to this community, and with your support, I look forward to working further with you, the residents of Walnut Creek, to protect the quality of life of our community for future generations. My son Armin was born June 1st at John Muir Hospital, and I want to make Walnut Creek continues to be a special place for him and your family. Thank you so much. Please vote Novin and visit novin2018.com. Thank you.
All right. Get the website in there. Absolutely. All right. Last but certainly not least, Cindy.
Thank you very much. I love Walnut Creek, and giving back to our community and making our community a better place for everyone is my one focus. I care about the safety of our community, about our kids and our seniors, about the local economy, about jobs, and the fiscal health of the city. I care about the preservation of our open space and the environment. I want to protect our neighborhoods and the heritage of our downtown. I am proud to have the endorsement of the men and women of the Walnut Creek Police Association and of the Chamber of Commerce. But just as importantly, I am proud to have the endorsements of dozens and dozens of community leaders and community volunteers who work every day for our schools, the arts, our libraries, the open space and gardens, and for those who are in need. Thank you for today. Thank you for viewing this episode, and I would be honored to have your vote on November 6th.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, all of you. Really appreciate it. Good discussion. And that concludes our forum of candidates running for Walnut Creek City Council in the November 6th general election. Once again, the candidates here today: Cindy Silva, Iman Novin, Matt Francois, Rebecca Bird, Spencer Dress. If you want more information on any of these candidates, all of these candidates, please visit the website votersedge.org. If you want to view this broadcast online, you can go to cocovote.us. I'm Alex Savage from KTVU Channel 2. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to vote on November 6th. Take care.